and Jalen 2013 NBA Preview.
The really sad Toronto Raptors. You played for the Toronto Raptors.
I love living in the T-Dot. They have terrific fans.
The T-Dot? What's that?
Toronto's slang term.
T-Dot?
Smitty and Hoppy.
Why T-Dot? Where did T-Dot come from?
That's their nickname, Toronto, T-Dot.
Okay. T-Dot.
Yes.
Am I allowed to call them T-Dot?
Absolutely.
Okay,
they
good.
love that.
All right, neat. Let's look at their collective fan base mindset. This is Game 7, Toronto and the Bruins. These fans put a camera on the TV. This is Game 7, Jalen. The Leafs. And now the Bruins start coming back. This is the tying goal right here. Now, I want you to pay special attention to number 17 because
Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk is just shell-shocked and doesn't move really for the rest of this clip. At this point, I would have broken the camera, but for some reason, they kept it on. Let's see the final goal. This is the game winner. So they just blew a 3-goal lead in the third period. This is the overtime.
No!
Look at Olynyk.
Wow.
He's frozen. That one guy leaves.
How?
The only word is how. All right, here's why we're showing this. People in Toronto don't care what happened to the Raptors. All they care about is the Maple Leafs in Toronto. They don't care about the Blue Jays.
I like what they do.
They don't care if they get the Bills.
It's definitely a hockey
It's all
town.
about the Maple Leafs. So if this Raptors team became decent, I don't even know if it would really matter in Toronto, would it?
It would. They have terrific fans, Bill.
Well, I know they have really smart fans, but overall, I mean, would it it seems like they have their 20,000 diehards, but would the city care?
The city does care, and here's why. The dynamic of playing for a city versus playing for a country in Toronto is a lot bigger. The range is wider.
You really feel like they're playing for the country, though?
Yes, because they're the only team.
So you think like Montreal
NBA.
cares what's happening in Toronto? I would
They
think
do.
they just would be mad at Toronto.
They do, and if you need to go to Montreal.
Oh, I've been to Montreal.
Yes.
Montreal's not far from Boston.
Don't get divorced, Bill.
The one thing about Toronto, they've had just a terrible run. I mean, the best player in the history of the franchise was Vince Carter.
Sergeant Vincent Lamar Carter.
He stabbed them in the back, he quit on them, and you defend him because you like him because...
I played with him and saw how it went down. I don't think at the time the organization handled his situation like he was a franchise player.
You shouldn't quit on the fans, though.
He didn't necessarily...
You wouldn't quit on your Grantland listeners
Not at all.
and watchers.
Not at all. Not at all. But it was just a tough situation where both sides needed change.
Well, he really needed change because he stopped playing hard. T-Mac left after 3 years and immediately became a top 5 player in Orlando.
They lost all of their top
That was
players.
tough. Chris Bosh left.
Stoudemire.
Damon Stoudemire they traded.
Camby.
It's been almost a 20-year run now.
Doug
Just
Christie.
Suckiness. So here's what they did this summer. I want you to pay special attention to the last one. See that? Masai Ujiri. GM/warlord. Masai is a G.
He is.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
He's a top 5 GM, and they have
Agreed.
never, ever in a million years had anybody who knew what they were doing run this team.
Put it this way. When I played for the Raptors, we had the 7th or 8th pick in the draft. And we took, and imagine, he's out of the league at this point.
Is he Puerto Rican?
Rafael Araujo.
Best Puerto Rican guy on the board, though.
That's who we drafted when I was in Toronto.
One thing Masai was able to do was get rid of Andrea Bargnani's contract. You and I both like Bargnani more than most.
Yeah.
I think he was on the wrong team. The fans turned on him. I didn't mind that move for the Knicks. He's got a little feistiness that I like. I know what position he is. He could be like one of those stretch 5s on the right team if he's used properly. I don't know if the Knicks are the right team, but he got rid of that contract, had to take back Steve Novak. They only have 2 expiring contracts, Lowry and Gray. Let's look at the rotation. The only big move I would see them potentially making is the Rudy Gay, but Jonas had a big summer.
I think DeMar DeRozan has the opportunity to be an explosive player in this league.
Like, what do you think, like 20 points a game explosive?
He should be an 18-point scorer this season.
Okay.
I really think that. He can shoot the 3. He's a terrific athlete, can handle the ball. I like his court demeanor. If he does play the way I think he's capable of playing, and you get quality minutes from Gay and Amir Johnson, at least you increase the trade value, I think, of Rudy Gay if that's your next move. And I think that's going to be Masai's next move.
I think Masai would have been his move during the draft if anybody wanted to take the contract. Do you buy the Rudy Gay eyesight thing at all?
Not at all. I just think that he had a bad season. It happens to us all.
I like Terrence Ross. He's the one guy on that bench I like. It's funny, though. Indiana had that terrible bench last year that was one of the things that stopped them from making the finals. And now Toronto has two of the guys from that bench. So congratulations to them. Let's look at Goldsberry's graphic because he did Rudy Gay. Such a disappointing year last year. Also started the biggest arguments we had on the NBA Countdown set.
He did.
It became like the Roe versus Wade type situation for us where there was just no way to answer it. We'd always get angry.
You were right. You won the argument.
I was right last season. I don't know if I'm right long term.
He got us Hall of Fame mogul.
Look at that shot chart, though. Oh, my Lord. There is no red whatsoever. Oh, look at the white. He's got the white in the corner three. You're a small forward and you're allegedly a shooter and you got white from corner three? Maybe he couldn't see. And then the green all the way around. So Rudy Gay, last year, 31% shooting on any shot past 15 feet.
He's not playing with a player that's going to get double teamed.
Right.
That was the main thing. I mean, you know, in Memphis, they got the bigs, Gasol and Zach Randolph. They occupied a baseline and probably took away driving lanes, but they forced you to collapse, and those double teams created driving lanes and three-point shots for Rudy Gay, and he shot a better percentage. In Toronto, he doesn't have that. I still do think Rudy Gay is a top 10 small forward in the game.
Potentially. In 2011, 20-6, 47% shooting, 40% from three. Uh-oh. Oh, my God. He always comes in out of nowhere. Clairvoyant Bill thinks that Masai will figure out a way to trade Rudy
Immediately.
before January 15th. We will not even be at the Super Bowl yet when it happens. Clairvoyant Bill also has this weird sneaking suspicion that it's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks and that it's going to be for the Caron Butler, Udo expiring contracts and the Greek rookie that they took in the draft last year whose name nobody could pronounce, who you nicknamed Poe. Remember that guy? Giannis Akabaka-Budubampanko? And you called him, you're like, Poe.
Exactly.
Get my bags, Poe.
Correct. You got to be able to play and we'll learn your name.
Yeah. If your name has more than 17 letters in it, learn how to play, or I'm giving you a 2-letter nickname.
Correct.
Zach Lowe's sneaky big question follows up on what we're talking about. What is the plan for Masai in year one? He's got Dwayne Casey, who is a really good bet for the first coach to get fired pool if you don't want to put your money on Ty Corbin. Rudy Gay can opt out next summer, potentially, if he wanted to.
They're going to trade Rudy Gay. The plan is to trade Rudy Gay.
Right.
I hear all the time as a player, before I went to Toronto and after I've been in Toronto, why isn't Toronto been a place that's attractive for free agents? Because you have to pay Uncle Sam and Queen Elizabeth in taxes.
Oh, it's more in Texas?
Yes.
So it's like the anti-Texas.
You get a work permit to play in Toronto.
Oh, I don't like that sound of that at all.
So correct. So imagine if you're making $1 million and you got to pay Uncle Sam and your agent around 46% of your money. And then you got to pay Queen Elizabeth another 3-4% of your money. That's almost 50% literally.
Uncle Sam, you mean America, not your actual uncle named Sam.
Correct.
Okay.
T-Dot! One of the best things about living in Toronto, I was living a single life. Yeah. That picture probably happened in my basement in Toronto, literally. And if you're in the T-Dot, you must go to King Street. That's where you must be.
I think Clairvoyant Bill wants to come. Clairvoyant Bill's in.
I'm in Toronto, the team's struggling. It probably was a couple of days after Kobe hit 81 on us. I'm just walking downtown, High District shopping. I want to buy myself something. I'm just bored. I want to get a phone. A matter of fact, an international phone.
Oh, that's important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm about to start getting stamps in my passport, tattoos on my passport.
Sure.
I buy a Virtu phone that I've actually, still to this day have never used, and it's the biggest waste of money ever.
Are you paying for like a monthly plan on it?
No, it's
Oh,
not
that's
cut
good.
on. Because it costs $500 to have a concierge.
Well, can't we bring the Virtu phone in for the Grantland Network?
We can.
Can we have it as a prop? We could put it next to the Magic.
Sure.
Our Magic bobblehead.
I'll bring in the Virtu.
So out of the first 8 teams we've done in the countdown, Toronto is the leader in the Champagne and Campaign Clubhouse.
No doubt about it.
Jalen's excited about Toronto as a city. The Triangle is excited because of Jonas Christ Superstar. There's a lot of Jonas buzz.
That's why they were able to trade Andrea Bargnani. That way they're building their team, they want their big to play closer to the basket, and as opposed to Bargnani, who likes to launch a lot of threes.
He won the Summer League MVP. Does that mean anything to you?
It does.
It does, because Kedrick Brown won it once.
It does mean something.
And he's going to be bringing her food later. This is the most interesting 24-second prediction clock that we've done. Why don't you start us off?
For the Toronto Raptors, Masai will trade Rudy Gay immediately. Rudy Gay, I think, is still a top 10 small forward who's going to go somewhere else and be productive. Jonas is going to make a name for himself. DeMar DeRozan is going to play at a very high level.
I think he's going to try to bottom out and flip that Rudy Gay trade into anything he can get. I think he'll also trade Kyle Lowry. I think he wants to get in the top 5 of this draft. Because they could also swing the other way and try to make the playoffs, but for what purpose? You're going to beat Miami in a playoff series?
And we talked about free agents, unless they're overpaid, don't go to Toronto. So he has to build his team through the draft and or trading for players that are already under contract. This may be a landing spot for Rajon Rondo.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I need Jonas back, though.
They're going to give you Rudy Gay.
I don't want Rudy Gay. Can I have someone else? That's it for the Toronto Raptors. Stay tuned for number 22
T-Dot.
on our list coming up. Jalen, say something in French to close this clip out.
Virtu phone.